it's helping in a multitude of ways. I mean, first we'll just talk about efficiencies, just how we're able to complete processes with fewer man hour. It relieves the burden from myself and the assistant administrator we have in conducting the day-to-day activities that are burdensome. I mean, particularly for us right now, it's around our transportation scheduling, as well as our billing and authorizations. So we've seen a significant improvement in those areas already. Still more work to be done, but we're very pleased with the progress we've been making, and it's made our lives much easier so we can focus on other things. Definitely, will give us, a baseline for us to grow going forward, especially as we start adding additional centers. Per extra patient will continue to decrease. So it'll make us, even more efficient, overall on administrative energy expended kind of per patient, we'll call it. And the other thing about the automation is also, the visibility, that we have to our performance real time. I'm already seeing, I know we're still working, but I've, already seen the results that's, helped us, dramatically with, being able to look something up on a computer instead of chasing down some paper or having to call someone for the answer. So it's helped our operation, which in turn gives the patients a better feeling about how on top of things we are with the operation and caring for their children. Yeah, well, I think the initial hesitation was always the cost and an investment of just time to make this happen. But at the end of the day, you look at if I were to try to do this myself, not having the expertise as well as the amount of labor I would have to hire to produce what we've produced, it would have cost easily 5 times as much as my investment. So after kind of overcoming that initial objection, probably more so from my business partners, but they weren't feeling as much pain with trying to establish our methods and procedures.
Right.
But I think they have seen the light of day with some of the new tools we've implemented, and dashboards that have helped us manage the business. So it's already paid off itself, and we're probably not even a third into our total project here. So after implementing these changes, we're in the process of looking at growth and opening up new centers. So kind of having a dashboard that helps us have the pulse of each of these centers is going to be very helpful without us actually being there. We can make decisions more in real time as required, and ultimately reduce costs or improve revenues in the whole operation overall. And just make it a better place for our employees to work in, because then they don't see any of the mess in the background, and they just think everything's flowing very smoothly, and it just makes life easy on them, and they can just focus on caring for the patients. I would say kind of for companies that are in my position, where you start to, experience that success and revenue growth, but at the same time, as I discussed before, you're just very consumed with just the operation. It just pays off to bite the bullet, make the investment, and the returns will be there. And then going, because you're going to reach a limit as far as to how much you can scale without actually implementing, more more robust processes and procedures, kind of taking a hard look at everything and reinventing it as needed. So, without it, not going to be able to scale to kind of, where we kind of envision ourselves scaling down the road. So we're just not going to be stuck in a rut. It's an investment that needed to be made in order for us to put ourselves in a position to grow how we want it to grow.
Right.
So am I going to get a better return on, trying to do this, insource it, do it all in-house, hire additional staff, have to manage those staff,
Right.
hire consultants, who already are experts and can bring new ideas, new approaches to the table, and are unbiased, like you always get when you're, doing something for so long, and bringing fresh approaches. So it's paying off tremendously that I think the output is much better than what I could have ever done hiring in-house, which would have cost me even more than the investment I'm paying in this consulting engagement. And from that, without it, we're going to be able to scale, and scaling for us, our margins increase the bigger we get. So it's just me able to be in that position to be able to scale, and we wouldn't be able to do it without implementing these SOPs. The first thing that comes to mind is transportation scheduling process. Medicaid pays for our children to be transported from their house to our center and back. And it was a very arduous process before we started the engagement. It was phone calls. The information was in a million different places. We were required, as part of the transportation process, to have signatures from the parents documenting the time. But that was on, pen and paper. And, as we were scaling and growing to the level we are, it's just, how do we, maintain the security of this paper, this information, and HIPAA, how do we, put this in the cloud to kind of secure everything in one place. But what type of platform do we use to do that? And, how do we get inputs from the parents, and then just have it all kind of married into one place, which is really, made it so much more efficient for us to do the scheduling, reduce my risk that I see from, potential HIPAA violations. So it's helped out not only from compliance, but our efficiency. And at the end of the day, the performance we're delivering to the parents, and, and having schedules that work as optimally as they could for them. So that was a terrific help. And the one other area is that we were having difficulty managing as we grew was our prior authorizations or recertifications for our children that were in attendance. So there were times that we missed submitting the recertification in time, or missed starting on the process to get the paperwork. And sometimes we would go a week, maybe 2 weeks, without getting paid for our patients we were seeing, and there was no way of recovering that income. So now with our new process, we're much more organized. We not only do we have a dashboard, but we have automation with reminders and follow-ups. And I think since we've started the process, we have not been late on any certifications. So I'm definitely seeing an impact to the bottom line with that already. It's generational, I'll call it. I think our younger kids who grew up on the iPad, they embraced it immediately, and we're very, very happy to move forward with our paperless process. But eventually, those that are in older generations have come around. It's just require a little more training and hand holding, which we do give them. So they're warming up to the idea, but as a whole, it's been very, very well received. We're just working a little bit more on adoption, but it's getting there and going in the right direction. But as a whole, everyone's noticed a big difference. Yeah, our relationship started on the accounting side, but I, I relative to where I was before, I was getting what I viewed as minimal support. So that's why I knew I needed a change, and
Right.
but really like the story you had and the approach. So that's what compelled us to move forward. But immediately, you took the time to understand our business, ask good questions, that it made me ask myself questions, and just so we could understand, like, how the whole business model works, and then from there, we'll start to evolve into these KPIs. But then that relationship, evolved even further to this SOP project we're working on, where we're attacking every functional area we have, and then they're not all separate because they're all interrelated at the end of the day.
Right.
So it's we mapped out a plan where we kind of started with the biggest pain point, but then just kind of evolved it from there as kind of what would make sense in the flow as far as developing these SOPs. So it's been very helpful to me, to have someone out there asking good questions, not tied up in the day-to-day business, just as we figure out, hey, are we doing the best thing, from a business perspective, for our company, because it's important for us to thrive for the community we serve, as well as our business goals. Yeah, I would say you're, for one, very committed to your client. You're very invested in their well-being, as well as, really truly learning their business operation, the ins and outs, what's working well, what's not working well. I definitely know you're not coming with a canned solution that you can bring to every client, because I know we're incredibly unique, but you've really taken the time to help us with these customized solutions. Obviously, we try to take stuff off the shelf, but I've been very, very happy with your investigation of different alternatives that are out there, and coming forward with some very good recommendations that have worked, and not only work well, but very low cost recommendations that meet the budget as far as technological platforms we've moved forward with. So that's how I sum it up in a nutshell. And you just continue to push me as the business owner, which is helpful, and consider things in light that I wouldn't have without your assistance or guidance. Your approach has been a lot more thorough than I would have ever had the time to do. So our industry is, the healthcare is kind of, behind the curve on technology as a whole, especially small practices. I would consider myself a practice or facility or center, and the folks we've hired who have experience in there, that's all they know. So I've been trying to push the envelope with my staff as far as what I was aware of, and the experiences I had. But it was very helpful once we started your engagement that you really made it easy for me to present these new processes that worked well from the get-go, when it was just more kind of training and getting a little feedback from them, because there's always tweaks we can make. But it would have taken me a whole lot longer, and the end result wouldn't have been as well. But our it's all kind of helping us in our goal and vision. I mean, we want to lead the way with with technology to be the most efficient type of healthcare business we are out there. I mean, my recommendation, one, if you want to grow and you've kind of hit the ceiling, you have to move forward with formalizing your processes, or re-looking at them, to gain access to the tools to allow you to grow. So once you finally have reach that conclusion or agree with that conclusion, then the next thing is to find the business partner that can help you do that, who has the experience and the grit to push through things. I mean, these problems aren't easy to solve, and it involves a lot of trade-offs. So someone who's going to be, take the time to understand your business, be there for you, be responsive, listen, ask the hard questions, but then come up with really good solutions. All at what I see is a very fair price. Hence that's why I landed with NSKT, and I haven't regretted my decision one bit.